Hey,
Hey.
how's it going you've got some exciting news up in Sweden. How are you guys coming along with your plans?
Yeah, no, we're about halfway in building our second plant, which will be 10 times as big as the one we have. I just got photos from there where they've been I don't know what it's called. It's like the piling machine. They're just tearing down concrete walls. It looks very cool. It's too bad we weren't there with the camera to capture it for real or with high quality. But yeah, it's really people with hard hats running around and we're moving in big equipment. It's cool. Yeah, no, it's great. We're anticipating the first couple of containers, right, from you guys in a few months to start really churning out recycled materials.
Yeah, I think it's pretty exciting that since 2017, like the work that we've done together and the evolution of how you guys have gone from the sample plant to the now this bigger one, and then the reality of this coming together with us starting to ship post-consumer denim as an input to new manufacturing is the real dream, right? It's like this is what scale looks like. It's pretty amazing.
No, it's kind of crazy just seeing it come together. Yeah, that's like way back we got our first container from you guys. We're trying to, the wire goes around the base like this. Okay, we're going to cut it up with this, and then you put it through the machine the demo machine. It's like, well, will it run? Where do we get plugs? Does it even come out the other way end? And that was like 4 years ago. And from now, really, we're actually rehiring 100 people from an old paper mill to go in and run this as well. And, proud kind of paper mill country where they've been doing cellulose processing then, forestry stuff for more than 100 years. And now turning their gaze towards a new type of material that's completely circular and doing it in a big way. It's amazing.
I think there's a really good story here, at least as like my own personal lesson is that people say, well, how did this start or what did you do? And I'm like, I think this is just work. It's just you got to just sit down and do the work. And I think it was really neat those early days of working with your team to say, okay, what can we use? What are the inputs? What are the cellulose inputs? What do you have that's cotton rich? And trying different materials and literally just trying to meld the used world with what might be an input to new manufacturing. But I bet you those 100 people, there must be something pretty proud about the fact that you're swapping out, cutting trees down for using a waste product, at scale. That's, and then when you start to look at the volumes that you guys are going to be able to do, and the amount of, the exchange from, a forest product to a waste product and making a circular product. I bet you those 100 people are pretty excited, to be honest.
No, they are. It's interesting also because of the fact that it's been kind of a stagnation within that they printed paper is what they did in that venue before, and everybody knows that you're not reading as much printed paper anymore. It's gone online, so it's been like a slow roll, and then with the pandemic it kind of the bottom dropped out of that market, and kind of thinking about what will come along instead, and for us going on like with you guys and knowing the demand that's out there for better materials and better ways of doing stuff within fashion, feeling the opposite kind of momentum, and that kind of joining together then at the proud industrial location with they've always done this. It's a big scale process industry, doing it with efficiency, doing it with green energy. It's hydropower right around the corner. It's biomass for making the steam. They've been, perfecting this art really of turning raw materials into usable product forever. It's just, let's do it with waste instead, and for an industry that's been sorely lacking within this. And what's really cool is, and with Bank and Vogue, then kind of making this possible, of a marriage between the used clothes industry and the waste handling kind of industry, and making sure that we're efficient in that way also, and really closing the loop for all materials in the end, and in the most efficient way as well. Doing it at scale. Just trying. No, it's I can't find it. It's so exciting.
And I think, I think what's really amazing is that when we stand in the stream of all this waste going by, and we use the word waste loosely, but the reality is we see it as gems, and to be able to celebrate this amazing product, whether it be the denim or whether it be other cotton-rich product, that frankly, if we can find a home for it, sort of much higher up the chain, I know it's somehow it's something beautiful about the fact that our stores and Beyond Retro in Sweden, if we can't resell it, if we can't repair it, if we can't remake it into a component for a new product, and then to find a home for it and be able to work with somebody like a RenewCell who's innovating, and not just, I think one of the big things is there's a lot of potential conversations in the space, but the fact that RenewCell is building an industrial size plant has gone past the what we could call the weight test, and you guys are now at that scale level. It's really exciting, and the fact that we're filling that pipe to get ready for it, beyond all of the challenges of COVID and shipping and supply constraints. I don't know. I think I feel incredibly lucky to be able to have worked with you guys for the last 4 years, but I kind of feel like the theme here is, like, I don't think anybody wants to burn up the planet, but the reality is this is just work, and it's just hard work to be able to get down and also find partners that share a commonality. I think that's a pretty critical step too, right?
Yeah, and yeah, just picking up on that, just seeing it as work as well. I mean, you and Bank and Vogue are doing exactly what you're supposed to do and have been doing for, I guess, it's last 20, 30 years, right? Just valorizing.
25, not 30.
25, yeah, 25 years. No, valorizing the gems, really, that are there, and making sure it's going, finding an additional route, and well, you have to make it, because if it's going to be scaled, it has to pay, right? There has to be a flow, really, commercially wise, and that's really what we want to start creating, that commercially viable level, or really path for reject, I guess, in the end, or materials that have gone to lower value use, which would eventually end up in who knows, right? Just not for useful materials, and if we then, through our innovation, can really find a high value use that creates actually a value that can flow really, reveal that value that is in the stuff that's been too worn out to wear, or maybe even just too unfashionable at that point. It's just work, right? And that's goes for the 100 people at our plant too. They're experts in processing cellulose, which is what comes from trees, and the beautiful woodwork I see behind you there. It's also what's in cotton, the most abundant organic polymer to be found in nature. They've been doing this since the turn of the Industrial revolution in Sundsvall, where we're moving into, in a big way. Actually, our landlord there is Europe's largest private forest owner, and they replant 3 trees for every tree they take down, because that's work, right? You don't destroy your livelihood, I guess, in that way. You have to replant it, and that's kind of how we're looking at it in this way too. And I think both Dank and Vogue and Renewcell does too. We love fashion, really, in the end, and the ability to express yourself, your identity, your cultural affinity, your values, and things like that through fashion. But yeah, it's burning up the world the way we're doing it right now. So how can we kind of?
I think the point about I was going to say, I think the one of the points that we wanted to talk about was collaboration, but I genuinely feel like the drum that has been banged on by so many of the influencers, like the Maxes of the world, who really have been bringing the customer on this collaborative journey as well, is really what is making this completely possible. And have all of the sorted and selected denim that we want. We can have technology that can get it in place, but having that customer on that collaborative journey, through summits like this and other summits throughout the world, where there is a reminder that there is an alternative to being able to use virgin material. And this idea that used can be an input to new manufacturing at scale. What's really exciting is the customer, the consumer, is actually starting to ask, hey, wait a minute, what is the recycled content of this product? What did it take to get there? And I give summits like this and that have been going on for many, many years, really creating that demand and that collaboration from the customer is a really critical part of what is making this actually possible. I feel like that's something that just sort of to bring out as well.
Yeah, I guess that's something that should be that is a common message from both of us, I guess. Making the processing possible through our plant that can churn through a couple of 100 million pairs of jeans, and you guys that can actually sort it out and make sure that it goes to the highest value kind of use through secondhand. All of that needs to be made possible by people actually coming in and donating their clothes or selling them, or somehow actually coming back with it, and not. I mean, it might be spent material for you, but it probably isn't for somebody else, or for somebody that would want to buy something with a recycled content in it. So we need to keep that awareness building and that momentum going for people to actually see that value in the garments that they wear today, even though they might not be vintage fans or might not even like recycled content stuff or care about it at all. There has to be that kind of level of awareness to get this flowing, the circular flow happening in a big way.
For that collaboration starts, like this whole journey starts with people putting their clothes after they're done with them, or after they've changed size, or after they no longer like the style. It needs to go with donate your clothes to your local charity, put it in the local bin down the street, and then that begins an incredible journey. And if we were asked or we were challenged to talk about collaboration, it starts from the donor, the person making that conscious decision to throw it into the recycling process, eventually makes its way through the Bank & Vogue family and then, onto RenewCell. It is, at the end of the day, this is a global problem with a global solution, but starts with the person making that right choice at home and saying, hey, I want this to join the ecosystem of circularity, which is genuinely exciting,
And another thing, just building on top of collaboration as well, there is something that both Bank & Vogue and I think ourselves and also our fashion brand partners, it's another it's a commitment, kind of really doing this. You guys are building your sorting capacity and your capabilities. You're investing doing that. We're building this plant, and we have on the other end brands that are actually committing to taking this material once it's up there, and that's what makes this all possible, and that makes it also possible for investors to commit to supporting that, because they see that this is happening in the end. So we hope to kind of transfer that, and we've done it with Bank & Vogue. We're actually signed contracts. We're going to buy this, and that allows that wheel to start going, and with a customer, I guess. That has to be a sense of commitment, I guess, inside. You can't put it down in a contract, but you can think about it as, I buy into maybe a new piece of clothing, maybe even a vintage piece of clothing that I cherish very much. But that means that I'm committed also to making sure that this doesn't kill the world in the end. I just want to add commitment to collaboration.
Committing to that work is committing to the work is really critical, right? And I totally agree. Anyways, well done. I generally appreciate the time as usual, Harold. You guys at RenewCell are amazing, and a beacon for what can change look like. Well done.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you. This is what your jeans becomes, by the way. It's really cool, and we're going to turn this out by the tens of thousands of tons beginning next year. It's going to be really cool.
That's a lot better to see that out of wood. Okay, cheers.
Yeah, sorry, man. seeing come to an end flashing here.